Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I know it has literally been the longest time since I have put out a video. All I can say is these past 8 months have been such a life-altering period of my life. Yes, I am expecting a baby in the next coming weeks. I am 33 weeks pregnant, so woo! I feel like I'm on the home stretch, like I'm almost there. I don't look like I've gained much weight. Well, I've got the pregnancy cheeks on fleek. Check them out, but you can't really see it. Pregnancy cheeks on fleek, but I kind of like them. I think they're cute and chubby. Kind of like them. Hubby says they're cute. Do you know what? Let me not lie. He doesn't say they're cute and chubby. He calls me lumpy. He calls me bumpy. What other things has he called me? People usually have cute pet names for pregnant people, or like for the bump. So like basketball or sweet pea or I don't know, just cute stuff. He called me humpy. He's like, 'cause you look like a camel. Do you know what? So I would love to say he's been very sweet and gracious throughout this period, but we have clashed heads several times throughout this pregnancy. Many of you may have seen my reactions video. It took me ages to upload that video. I didn't upload it till I was about 5 months, just because I was so nervous, because obviously being pregnant is already something quite personal, especially when you weren't planning it or you didn't feel prepared for it. God kind of just said, hey, do you know what? I think it's your time to have a child. Let's just put one in your womb. Nonetheless, it was probably the best surprise of 2015. I already said that in the beginning of this video that this baby was not planned specifically, as in me and my husband didn't sit down and say we want to have a baby, let's start trying. No. It was more of I wasn't feeling too well. I was on contraception and I wasn't feeling too well, and I thought, well, maybe it's because the type that I was taking, the type I was on had changed. So I thought, oh, maybe this is making me feel a bit sick. So for 1 month, I decided to come off it and see how I felt. But even in that month, of course, we were cautious of the fact that if you do, if you are intimate, there is a chance that you could conceive. I can't say that we were, swinging off the chandeliers every day, doing it every day. No, it was quite planned, and and I guess in that time there was just a window. And let me not lie to you guys, I could probably count on one hand the amount of times we were intimate in that month just because of it. Like, I can count the amount of times. And I guess there was a window and God just picked one of those times, and I couldn't be happier that I'm having this baby now. Of course, at the beginning I was so happy, but I was confused at the same time, and my hormones were raging, and I was legitimately overwhelmed. But as the pregnancy has progressed and I've watched the development of this child, Consumer Health Digest and Baby Center, and just the growth of the baby and how miraculous it is to actually be able to have a child, I've been so in awe of how God works. The ability to be able to even carry a child is it's phenomenal. It's mind-blowing. It's the design of our bodies. Like, it just made me appreciate so much of God and how perfect His design is, and how our bodies were created to do this. And finding out I was pregnant, it was actually so funny because, okay, day 1, I didn't have my period. I thought, oh, well, because I've switched contraception, oh, maybe it's just late. Day 2 came, I was like, And I'm someone who's very regular, so for me to not have my period, I was like, this is a bit suspect, it's a bit suspicious. Day 3 came. By day 3, I was like, I decided to Google, take it to those forums. I was like, day 3, no period, could I be pregnant? And of course you find reels of what people have said, like, oh yeah, you could be pregnant, I advise you take a pregnancy test, or oh no, maybe it's just late, wait till 7 days, maybe your body's just adjusting. People had so many different comments on there. So I was like, okay, do you know what, I'm gonna wait, I don't need to take a pregnancy test, me pregnant. How funny. Day 4, still no period. I was like, okay, cool. Day 4, could I be pregnant? Okay, so the thought was there, but it wasn't really something I was ready to act on. Day 5 came, kind of forgot about it. Day 6 came, forgot about it. Day 7, we were in Windsor for our monthly Windsor meetings, because we're part of a Christian network and we meet every first Saturday of the month. And I remember that morning I felt so sick, and the thing is, normally I get a bit car sick anyway, so I thought, oh, this is just extreme car sickness, motion sickness. I remember we arrived in Windsor and I took paracetamol, I took ibuprofen, and I don't take ibuprofen because it normally gives me digestive issues, but I was like, whatever is gonna stop this banging headache and this nausea, give it to me. Like, I don't care, like I will take it right now. Nothing I took seemed to shift this headache. And then after Windsor, my brother-in-law drove us back to London, and then we went to we were in the car, and I was like, oh guys, there's not really much food in the house, obviously trying to play it cool. Can we please go to Tesco so I can pick up something, rustle up something for us to cook tonight? So everyone was a bit like, and I was like, oh please, and plus I'm not feeling well, I need to pick up some medicine, I've got a terrible headache, all of that. So we drove into Tesco and I was like, don't worry guys, I'll be 2 minutes, let me just run inside and I'll grab what we need. Everyone decided that they wanted to go and get something. I was like, oh no, I want to get this and I want to get that. And I was like, oh, for goodness sakes. I just wanted to run in by myself, get the pregnancy test, run out, and not look suspicious. Some pregnancy tests, if you didn't know, are security coded, so they put them in this big box and you have to scan them on some special thing. So I went to self-service checkout. The guy took it out of the box, but he didn't scan it. So now when we were leaving Tesco's, the alarms went off. And he was like, beep, 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 beep. And the big security guard came up to me and he was like, sorry, excuse me, madam, can you come back here? I need to search your bag. Everyone's looking at me like I've just stolen something. You know, this is the whole 5p bag thing came in, so I didn't have a Tesco bag in my hand. I was wondering, oh, where did I put the receipt? If I can't find the receipt, then it's gonna look like I just stole this pregnancy test. Anyway, he looked in my bag and Toby was coming over, and I was like, please don't say it out loud, please don't say it out loud. The security guard was like, oh, it's because you've got a pregnancy test in your bag. And I was like, oh. Just as he said it, Toby just stepped over. The relief, like he literally just missed hearing the security guard say that. And the thing is, I didn't want to alarm him if I wasn't actually pregnant. Like, you know, you kind of raise someone's hopes to crash them down. So I wanted to be sure myself first. I bought a clear blue one because, you know, those adverts that say clear blue is 99.99% accurate. I was like, well, do you know what? I'm not gonna go for a Tesco brand. I need to be sure. So you do what you do. I waited for those, I think it's 2 or 3 minutes. And in that time, I can't say my heart was racing or anything, because if I'm being honest, I didn't actually expect to be pregnant. So I was relatively calm, but the wait was just long. Like, it was just a long wait. Like, it felt like an eternity had passed. And then I looked at the stick and I saw a second line and I realized that this cross had appeared. And then I looked at the instructions and I looked at the stick and I looked at the instructions and I looked at the stick. The pregnancy test said positive. But of course I was like, it hit me. I was like, I'm pregnant. I was lost for words and I started shaking. Like, my hand was shaking. I came out of the bathroom and I went to the living room, and for some reason I decided to stand in the corner of the living room, which I never do. And then Tamar walked into the room and she was like, Nicola, are you okay? Yeah, of course, yeah, sure, yeah, I'm fine, not me. Why wouldn't I be okay? She carried on doing what she was doing, and then she turned around and she was like, Nicola, are you sure? And I was like, okay, Tamar, have a look at this. What does this mean? So she took the test, she looked at the test, she looked at the instructions. She looked at the test, she looked at the instructions. And she looked at me. Mate, you're pregnant. Are you sure? Like, are you sure? Am I sure? Are we sure? Like, how can I need another pregnancy test? I was like, how am I? We just came back from Tesco's, all of us. How am I going to convince my husband to take me back to Tesco's? Sorry about that. Oh, sorry about that. How am I going to convince my husband to take me back to Tesco's so I can buy another pregnancy test? And how am I going to do it so that he doesn't see me? I do have one trick kind of left up my sleeve, if you know what I mean. I was like, oh baby, I'm still really not feeling well, and I forgot to buy anti-sickness medicine. He was like, anti-sickness medicine? What do you mean anti-sickness medicine? I was like, yeah, I bought the paracetamol, but I forgot to, you know, you have to put on that little bit of a babyish voice and sound really endearing. I was like, yeah, but I forgot the anti-sickness medicine and I'm feeling really nauseous. He was like, no, Nicola, we're not going back to Tesco's. And then I was like, how about if I make this night about you? He agreed, as most men would. Hey, tonight will be a very special night. So he took me back to Tesco's. I ran in, I was like, don't worry, I'll just be a couple of seconds. And at this time I bought the twin pack with another like single pregnancy test and the digital pregnancy test as well. If it says pregnant, then I will believe it. Until it says it, then I'm not gonna believe it. Like, how can you expect me to believe it? So, ran home. Of course, I had made a promise. So I had to be a woman of my word and fulfill that promise. And we had a great night. Like,
I feel grateful and I feel fulfilled. I'm happy because I never expected it, but God gave it to me.
Okay, now this is where it gets really TMI. And when you're sexually aroused and sexually like turned on, your emotions are also heightened as well. I burst into tears, and me who said that wasn't going to say anything not to alarm him because I didn't want to alarm him, I was shouting, I was like, I think I'm pregnant. And he was just like,
pregnant? Apostle, we hear of this.
What? He was thinking, did I do something wrong? Did you not enjoy yourself? You didn't have a good time? Like, what's going on, you know? And I burst out crying, and he was just laughing. Like, he was laughing so hard. Like, Nicola, no, you can't be pregnant. Like, come on. Like, seriously? And I was like, oh, I bought 2 more pregnancy tests, basically. One of them I'd already taken, so I'd only had the digital one left to take. So now I've got 2 positive pregnancy tests, and I'm waiting to take the digital one. Okay, so I ran to the bathroom and I took it, and I kid you not, within like 30 seconds, it showed up pregnant 3+ weeks. I was like, this is it. And that's when I pulled out the camera and we recorded the reaction because we couldn't keep it to ourselves, and that's when you saw the reaction video. So that's just a pre-story to the reaction video. But yeah, I think I've rambled on enough in this video. I'm still not on maternity leave, but I can't wait to go on maternity leave. I'll be going on maternity leave within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm gonna have a lot more time, and there's gonna be a lot more content because there's a lot that I feel like I haven't been able to share or haven't given myself opportunity to share throughout this pregnancy that I would love to share with you guys as well. And I guess just finally, I mentioned earlier that, yeah, it wasn't in our plans, but it was definitely in God's plan. And as much as we didn't plan to have a child right now, this baby is far from an accident. And I just want to leave us with the reminder that each and every one of us are here for a reason, are here for a purpose, are brought forth for something specific. And I'm not an accident, you're not an accident, and there's so much greatness and destiny on the inside of you. And even though, like with this child was on the mind of God even before I knew that I was pregnant. And that is so precious, that every single one of us, before our parents, our mothers found out that we were in their womb, God had already conceived us in his mind. He knew us by name. He knows the very hairs on our head. Be so encouraged that there is, you know, it's so easy. There are times sometimes, and this is one thing that I've been reminded of even in this time, like when I sit down and I think of this child, I actually think, wow, God has brought you forth for a specific purpose. You have an assignment here on this earth, and that encourages me, like when I feel weary, and you can't forget that, and you are loved. You are so deeply loved. Anyway, I must look huge sitting down here, because I feel huge the way I'm sitting. I'm not sitting in the most comfortable position, but I'm going to do a quick bump shot anyway, because I think that sitting down makes me look much bigger than I actually look. So, well, when I stand that close to the camera, I'm just going to lean here. This is baby at 33 weeks from the side and from the front. Yeah. So yeah, stay blessed everyone, and I will see you guys all in my next video.